news source, this is the Fbx Evening News.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on our Friday broadcast. Our top story, the Alaska Republican Party has a new leader, but not everyone's pleased with the way it came about.
Former Chairman Randy Rudrick says Deborah Holly Brown has succeeded him. Brown was elected vice chair during a raucous state convention last year. Russ Millett was elected chairman and set to take office earlier today, but party leaders voted late Thursday to oust him. A complaint filed against Millett raised questions about Millett's work as the party's finance chairman, his affiliation with political website, and his claim to be a lifelong Republican. Rudrick says a complaint against Brown was dismissed.
Yeah, I was disappointed with the results of the hearing that the State Executive Committee had, where they ousted Russ Millett as the chair-elect and kept him from becoming chairman. He was duly elected at the state convention, so the voice of the Republicans spoke. They were able to elect the leader that they wanted, and at the last minute, a coup was pulled by those who were currently in power, and keeping him from being able to exercise that duty. And I do hope he'll do an appeal and that we'll be able to remedy that situation. I am happy that they absolved Debbie Brown of the charges and that she is now the chair of the Alaskan Republican Party, and hopefully she'll be able to move things forward with more integrity than has been handled with our party in the recent past.
Now, according to the Anchorage Daily News, shortly after the decision was made to remove him, Millett put on his hat and left the room. Millett won the chairmanship election, and when Ron Paul supporters and other non-establishment party members flooded the party convention in April. The meeting to consider the ouster had been set for today, but was moved to Thursday evening instead.
In 2005, the Department of Defense was considering closing Eielson Air Force Base as part of the Base Realignment and Closure Program, or BRAC. Citizens within the community rallied at the Carlson Center presenting facts about Eielson Air Force Base that eventually resulted in the BRAC committee deciding Eielson Air Force Base should remain open. Next Wednesday and Thursday, citizens are once again encouraged to attend separate meetings to show support and testimonials as to why Eielson Air Force Base is so vital to the economy and security of the interior, and more importantly, to the Fairbanks and North Pole communities. Mayor Luke Hopkins is hoping the turnout will be similar to the response in 2005.
We want to make sure that at the scoping meetings that occur Wednesday, especially Wednesday evening and Thursday evening here in Fairbanks, that we give the Air Force a lot of information about what they need to analyze and why they need to look at all aspects in our community and also occurring in Anchorage. So this is our opportunity to make sure the Air Force hears our message, not just a complaint that we don't like it. We have to be giving them constructive comments, and I'm sure we will.
The scoping meetings will be next Wednesday at noon at the Fairbanks Princess Riverside Lodge, and again that evening at 6 p.m. On Thursday, the meetings are planned for 6 p.m. at the North Pole High School. All right, a bill that would change the eligibility requirements to receive a permanent fund dividend has been pulled off the House floor amid questions about its overall impact. House Bill 54 would allow for people who have been gone from Alaska for more than 5 years to still receive dividends. That is, if they prove they are residents and intend to return to indefinitely remain in the state of Alaska. The state, in deciding whether to award them dividends, would be allowed to consider a number of factors, including how often the individuals voluntarily return to the state and the kinds of ties they've established to the state of Alaska or another region. The bill was initially aimed at active duty members, but the bill's sponsor, Representative Eric Feige, says there were constitutional concerns with creating separate classes of people.
Okay, when we come back, restrictions are being placed on alcohol on Army posts statewide.
And a scare in the air last night as an Alaska Airlines pilot loses consciousness. That story and more on this Friday. Stay with us.
This edition of the Fbx Evening News is brought to you by Northland Hearing Services. Better hearing with a human touch. Kendall Auto of Fairbanks. And by Nissan. Innovation that excites.
And welcome back. It was reported last week that the Army was banning alcohol in barracks at Fort Richardson in Anchorage. However, officials say it's a statewide initiative and also affects Fort Wainwright here in Fairbanks. Commanders have put the rules in place to address alcohol-related discipline problems and incidents like a shooting that took place last month at Denny's restaurant on Airport Way that did involve military personnel. Soldiers 21 and older will continue to be permitted to drink alcohol at designated facilities on post and at clubs off post. Officials are also reviewing gun policies. The change goes into effect February 15th.
An initiative to get after disciplinary issues and alcohol-related incidents, and those include the restriction of alcohol, no alcohol in the barracks, establishing of a more formal courtesy patrol initiative where our senior NCOs are out and about, checking on posts and off, making sure that soldiers on nights and weekends are staying out of trouble.
A flight from Los Angeles to Seattle was diverted Thursday night when the pilot lost consciousness. The Alaska Airlines flight with 116 passengers and 5 crew made an emergency landing in Portland around 9 o'clock local time. The co-pilot landed the plane safely in Portland after notifying air traffic control that the pilot needed immediate medical care. The pilot, a 28-year-old veteran of Alaska, passed out in the cockpit, then collapsed in the cabin and was attended to by a medical student on the flight. Once on the ground, the pilot was taken to Portland's hospital. The cause of his illness and condition are not yet known.
The captain had some problems when he was in the cockpit and came out of the cockpit and collapsed on the aisle. Hit his head on something and called doctors, and there was fortunately a young woman who was a fourth-year medical student who ran to his aid. They made no announcements for the end. That's a little scary part of it. But the plane didn't lunge and everything seemed fine, so.
Officials with the Esther Volunteer Fire Department say they're breathing a sigh of relief after learning that damage to their fire tender truck that rolled down an embankment Thursday in the Goldstream Valley wasn't as bad as initially anticipated. The fire truck had been responding to a structure fire on Jones Road when it left the roadway and tipped on its side along Goldstream Road. The truck, a tender carrying water, was following Esther's Assistant Chief Rob Borland as they were driving to the fire when the accident occurred. The Esther Department responded as part of an automatic mutual aid agreement with Chena Goldstream Fire and Rescue, whose fire service area includes Jones Road and whose firefighters also had responded. The driver was not hurt, and Borland says damage to the truck was minimal, meaning they could get it back in service as early as Monday.
It seems like we dodged a pretty big bullet on this one. Yeah, it looked bad at the time, but it went in really soft. It just kind of tipped over a little bit. It basically just went in the ditch and then just kind of flopped on its side. So we're looking at really minor damage so far from what we can tell, and it looks like we'll probably get that truck back on Monday and back in service. Had great support from our neighboring departments and things like that, you know, trying to get us back on track. But yeah, like I say, it looks like Monday we should be getting it back and we should be full strength.
The Sergeant Clarkson Training Support Center is a virtual reality battlefield set up to test the soldiers' combat skills and communication. Today on Fort Wainwright, the training center held a dismounted soldiers demo for leadership and some soldiers as well. The purpose was to show the leadership exactly what this virtual space is capable of providing for soldiers stationed here in the interior. Some examples of the simulated situation include engaging hostile terrorists and provide explosive devices, call for fire, and engagement skills training. These, among others, are simulated into what some could compare to an interactive Call of Duty war game.
Just from today's demonstration is it's a lot of communication, which that is key before you even go out and shoot around or before you drive a vehicle. You have to have the communication. You got to have the standard operating procedures. Everyone has to work very well together and know what they're going to do.
You're seeing everything, and you're not moving. That's the unique thing. All virtual reality. So it's amazing how you can interact and still get one heck of a workout.
And watch again, see where they made mistakes. They'll start. We don't have that out in the field. Actually, you can't see what you did wrong. Here, you actually can see what you did wrong.
And the News Center will have more in the virtual training in our military report on Wednesday on the Fbx Evening News and News Center Final.
It's been almost a year since Anchorage coffee barista Samantha Koenig was kidnapped and murdered. The man accused of killing her, Israel Keys, committed suicide while in jail. Now, a celebration of life for Samantha Koenig was held last Sunday afternoon at West High School in Anchorage. Hundreds of people, many of them wearing the teenager's favorite color, green, filed into the auditorium to pay their respects. After the service, a large crowd formed in the West High parking lot to watch as Koenig's father, James, released dozens of lime green balloons into the sky. And it's hard to believe that was already a year ago.
That is very hard to believe.
Yeah, absolutely. Late-breaking sports news to report to you. The Alaska Nanox hockey team falls to 4-1 down there in, gosh, who were they playing? I'm totally blanking
Ask
right
Joe
now.
Cook. He's coming up next,
That's
right?
right. That's right. Joe, sports.
Joe will let you know
next.
all that
Absolutely.
information coming up next.
Brought to you by the Law Office of Rita T. Alley. Peace of mind through professional legal services.
Hello, Interior Alaska. Joe Cook here in the sports seat on TGIF, the biggest weekend in sports coming up. Make sure you root for my 49ers on Sunday. But first, let's talk some interior sports. The Nanox basketball team had a close game last night in the Patty Center. Head coach Mick Durham said his team needed one. It's the waning seconds of the game, tied at 56. But Kenny Jones hits a deep two for Northwest Nazarene. It's feeling like UAA all over again. But Stephen Tisa answers with a huge three, his only three of the game, 59-58 UAF with 28 seconds left. Kevin Rima, a Hutchinson product, ups the ante, giving the Crusaders the lead. Rima had 8 boards, 9 points, and 6 blocks. But quickly, Pat Voot pitches the ball with 11 seconds left, finds Ronnie Baker, who gets fouled, and he goes to the line with a chance to win with only 4.7 seconds left. Baker calmly hits both free throws. He had 10 points, and then Nanox prevails 61-60 over Northwest Nazarene, stopping a 3-game slide and gives them their first sweep of the Crusaders since 2004.
When I was at the line, I just thought of practice. You know, I didn't take it as a big free throw at the end of the game. I just took it as just another chance to get better.
A close game. Had to make some plays down the stretch to win. It should be great for our confidence.
You may be familiar with the NIT, or National Invitational Tournament, for the NCAA basketball, but there's a basketball tournament in Alaska that can be considered its junior. The Little NIT, or Little Nenana Invitational Tournament, started yesterday in Nenana. KTVF Sports was there for the start of this popular 1A, 2A basketball tourney. The Little Nenana Invitational Tournament, hosted by Nenana High School, has been going on for 29 years and brings in teams from all over the state of Alaska. The competition and hospitality is what really makes this tournament shine.
This is a very wonderful tournament. There's some good teams, and the people that put this on, it's just unbelievable. They have food for us. They treat us really nice in this community. And there's some talented ball players at this tournament.
Including from Russia with love, the 6'3" Neonila Dorval of Nikolaevsk.
Well, for me and my team, it means a chance, time to practice and time to be together and just have fun.
This is my 7th year coaching, and I've been coming here all 7 years. We haven't gotten our name up on the wall yet, so it's been a goal of mine to get our girls' name up there.
We got a young team, and I'm hoping that it'll open their eyes to the different level of competition and how much people are aware of the in-state basketball, especially in the interior. And, I want them to put on a good show for everybody and play right and have a good attitude about everything.
We try to get a geographic distribution so that we get teams from all over the state come in. And over the years, we've done that. And that's one of the big draws for these teams, knowing that they can come in and play different areas of the state and have different styles of basketball and that kind of thing, which is a big thing. And for the smaller schools also to get into a tournament-type atmosphere before they wind up going to play at the state is a big deal.
Whether it's the NCAA's NIT or the Little NIT in Nenana, it all boils down to pure basketball.
The opportunity for these kids to play is just great. It's just great to come out and watch good basketball. I mean, it doesn't matter what level it's at.
And for the first time this year, we're not talking about the boys basketball or hockey team. When we say the Monroe Rams win, the Lady Rams won their first game of the season last night in the Whaler Classic Tournament in Barrow. It was a resounding 39-16 win over Grace Christian Grizzlies. The Rams stopped in an 11-game slide. Alexis Gavora led Monroe with 11 points. Congrats to the girls team, but Grace Christian would get their revenge as the boys team beat the North Pole Patriots 57-30. Also in the Whaler Classic, Alec Tucker led the Patriots with 11 points. And the Ice Dogs' 4-game win streak ended last night in game 1 of a 3-game series with Wenatchee. The Wild win 2-1, down 2-0 going to the third period. The Ice Dogs' late rally fell short. Mark Parnell scored for Fairbanks at 7:41 in the third, but Wenatchee with his 21 saves. Steve Perry was peppered with pucks but made 42 saves on 44 shots. The Ice Dogs can right the ship again tonight in Wenatchee. And finally tonight, we announce our KTVF playoff pick'em winner, and the winner is Jung Ho Beck, or at Dapple Shadow 11 on Twitter. Mr. Beck, an associate economics professor at UAF, and his wife came by to collect the prize. They got some KTVF gear, Papa John's certificates, and some other goodies for the Super Bowl. Don't worry, we'll have more contests for your chance to be a winner soon. Just keep watching Channel 11 Sports. And we'll have a sports nightcap tonight covering the 4A hockey regionals and much more, so come back at 11. But this sportscast is done. Thanks for rocking with me for a little while. Stay cool, Alaska. Mike Schultz has your full weather forecast coming up next, and we'll catch you next time.
Welcome back into Fairbanks Evening News, everyone. Mike Schultz with you once again with a look at weather. And we'll start off again with our great photographs we have from our viewers. This one's sent in by Angela Holland, who call us a North Pole sunrise. I want you to notice how deep the snow is around this vehicle here. That's going to be fun digging that out. Again, if you have a photograph to share, send it to Mike Schultz at KTVF11.com. Here's what's going on at the airport right now. 8 below. The temperature has fallen after a high of 4. The low last night, 17 below. Record high, it was in 1940, 43 degrees. Record low, 57 below, 1910. Sunrise, 9:36. Sunset, 4:36, which works out to exactly 7 hours of daylight. That's a gain of 7 minutes from yesterday. Here's our satellite picture. You can see more moisture coming up from the Gulf of Alaska. It's already moved into the Anchorage Bowl, but most of it's going to be trapped along the Alaska Range, so we're not expecting a whole lot to move in. If we do, it will just be in the form of flurries tomorrow. What's going on across the rest of the state? Well, again, very wet day across much of southeast Alaska. Freezing rain in Juneau this afternoon. We have rain showers around Kodiak Island and some fog hanging around the Cold Bay area. Up and down the west coast, again, mainly just snow flurries around Bethel. Clear skies at Barrow, and mostly cloudy skies at Fort Yukon, 0 degrees there. Lower 48 weather, again, not a whole lot going on, not too bad. Some snow moving across the Central Plains with lots of clear skies all the way down to the south, especially around the Super Bowl area for tomorrow, or actually Sunday, I should say. Again, just a few trailing areas of light snow here and there, and the jet stream, once again, moving a lot of cold air from Canada across much of the Great Lakes. They call it the Parade of Clippers, which means there's just little pockets of snow moving in and out of the area. More showers expected over the deep south. Well, back to Alaska for tomorrow. Over the northern sections, flurries are expected in Barrow, light snow at Nome, partly cloudy skies for Fort Yukon, while here in the interior, we'll be looking at more clouds moving in with some flurries likely in the afternoon for both Fairbanks and Healy. Over the southeast, again, more rain continuing for Juneau and Ketchikan. And over to the southwest, we'll be looking at snow showers at Bethel, rainy periods for both Cold Bay and Kodiak and south central regions. If you're heading on down there, looks like rain and snow showers for Anchorage and Homer, with more snow expected in Valdez. Once again, time for our kids' weather, and tonight we'll give you, we'll give you the Winter Trails Report real quickly. As you can see, it looks like a great weekend for all outdoor activities. Both Mount Aurora Ski Land and Moose Mountain, they're going to be offering their best of the year with newly groomed slopes, and snow machining it should just be as fun as can be, but just be aware of the dangers of creeks and rivers possibly falling through those. Okay, once again, it is time for Kids Weather Watch, and our weather fact for tonight: 1990 winds gusted to 97 miles an hour in Cotulla, Texas during a thunderstorm. And next week, we'll be talking with the kids from Two Rivers Elementary School. All right, here's your forecast for the remainder of the night. 9 below, clear skies, a little bit colder than last night. Tomorrow's forecast, 12 above, more clouds with flurries likely by afternoon. And the extended forecast, again, temperatures continuing very nice until you get to about Wednesday or Thursday. Then we will be looking at temperatures in the minus figures, -5 for the daytime highs. Overnight lows also dropping down pretty good at 10 degrees below zero, with 13 below as the Wednesday forecast. And one more last reminder, tomorrow is Groundhog Day, and even if he sees his shadow, it doesn't make any difference because winter doesn't end until March 20th.
Gotcha. Are you telling me that that's never been the truth?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
The
pretty
poor
good.
groundhog.
Well, a couple of things. 4-1 Alaska Natick lost to Miami of Ohio. I knew that, I just couldn't think of it. I was thinking Dallas for some whatever
I've got
reason.
my 49er hat on because I lived there for 25 years. I'm a devout 49er fan.
There
And
you go.
let's just
And
add one more
red.
thing. It's Red Day.
Yeah.
For Go Red,
Yep,
so
we're
we're
all
all
wearing
sporting
red.
the red.
Yeah, absolutely. So fantastic. And you know what? I'll take the other team, Baltimore, just because I can.
Okay.
Ooh, are we having an anchor bunch here?
That's right.
Well,
Okay.
it's Friday. Why not?
That'll wrap up this edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. Go Ravens. We're glad you could join us.
On the neutral party, so coming up next is NBC Nightly News with Brian Williams. I like the Puppy Bowl.
And for all of our news, sports, and weather, for all you 49er fans out there, check out websitter11.com.
From all of us here at the News Center, have a great night.